what I want to touch on today is the first 24 hours of your new team member, getting that team member positioned for the maximum success. And this all boils down to something that is happening with most people when they bring people into the business. Now, as I said, previously in our Power Build system, part 1 training, we covered how to prospect on LinkedIn and SMS and Facebook and other text-based platforms. I'm talking about phone calls. I'm talking about where you can type to somebody and get a message out to them. And we also talked about how to apply the golden rule. And if you don't know what that is, you'll learn that in part 1. We talked about the get out of jail free card. And we talked about how to become an inviting machine. Successful people in network marketing don't convince anyone. What they do is invite people to come onto an event such as the weekly and daily calls. Now, if you haven't already touched that training and gone through it, then you can get part 1. It's available at http://powerbuild.cfx.team. That's where we store the training. There's a part 1 folder there. There's a part 2 folder there, which I'll put this in shortly. But I would recommend that you go and do the part 1 training. In fact, I've had a few people in my team this week, which I've driven into the training, and they've gone, what a revelation that is. So what we're going to cover today is on the first 24 hours of your new team member being in the building, is in the business, is something that I think is a bit of a disease that happens. And what I want to do is sort of treat it as such. So we're going to cover the diagnosis of that. We're going to identify what this disease is, and it comes in many shapes and forms. Okay, and we're then going to talk about the quarantine part of it and how you stop the spread down your networks, because I've seen this decimate networks before, and it can be soul destroying when that happens. We're going to talk about the immunization of your new team member, giving them that protection that they need to be able to go forward, in safety. And that immunization leads to the cure, and how by immunizing your new team member, they themselves can immunize their team members and make them safe, so the cure can go viral down your teams. So effectively what I'm going to show you right now is, if you like, a vaccination program that will help stop the spread of this disease that's going to go down your networks if you don't do something about it. So let's identify what that disease is. Okay, now, not many people have heard this before, and it's been many years since I've done this presentation, but the disease is excitementitis, okay? And I want you to burn that word into your memory, excitementitis, okay? It's a very bad and infectious disease, which is normally associated with new team members in network marketing teams, okay? And if left untreated, it can be absolutely fatal to your business, okay? So how excitementitis spreads, what we call the pathology of it. Well, fundamentally, you're a carrier. You yourself, when you bring a new member into your team, you naturally and unknowingly infect them with excitementitis, okay? So you're a carrier. You can't help it. You're contagious. Your excitement is contagious, okay? And you pass it on to your new team members. You also happen to infect some prospects in the same way without actually ever knowing that you've done so. You can't help it. You're contagious because you are very excited by this business. And what we've got to learn is how to control that excitementitis. And the trick is to spot the symptoms early. And one of the symptoms is that your new team member does zero training. So they go out there and they have no training whatsoever. And another symptom is that because you're contagious and you've infected them, they can't contain their excitement about their new business. And these are the symptoms, okay? So no training and excitementitis, okay? The problem with excitementitis is it gets out of control extremely fast if you don't do anything about it. And it spreads virally. And I'm going to explain, there's a little diagram going to happen on the right here. I'm going to explain how this virus spreads how this thing spreads virally. So first of all, you infect your new team member with excitement, and then they suffer from a secondary symptom. Rush out and tell everyone disease, okay? We're all, I can see Hazel laughing. We've all done it. I've done it, you've done it, we've all done it, okay? We infect our new team member with excitementitis, and they go and rush out and tell everyone they've got that disease. And then the third symptom starts to appear. And this is terrible, this symptoms. When you combine excitementitis and rush out and tell everyone disease, you get myopic Google syndrome. Now, the word myopic means that people are blind, okay? And myopic Google syndrome is a condition where people see rubbish on Google and think it's true because they can't see past what actually is being said there. And most of it's rubbish. Most of it's designed to sell you something else. The problem with myopic Google syndrome is that most people never recover from it. They just don't, because they think Google is the be all and end all of everything. And you'll never get people past it. So once people have got that syndrome, they're done, they're finished. And I just want to touch upon how toxic myopic Google syndrome is. It's a fact that Google can be poisonous for your business. And the worst thing is that sufferers even pass this on to other people you know, and now those people are toxic too. So you spread excitementitis into your team member, they go and rush out and tell everyone, and they tell somebody, and then that somebody tells somebody that they haven't even spoken to. And then when you go to that person, they go, oh yeah, so-and-so told me, and I looked it up on Google, and so the toxicity of this myopic Google syndrome really spreads quickly. It amazes me sometimes how fast it spreads. And so now it's completely out of control. And there are other possible symptoms too. And I know a few of us are going to laugh when we see these. When you combine excitementitis and rush out and tell everyone, you get, oh, it's Forex allergy, okay? Or is it legal infection? Or the generally untreatable, I don't do cryptoitis. These are all things that, if you don't contain this and you let rush out and tell everyone disease spread through your network, you'll get, oh, it's Forex allergy, and is it legal infection, or I don't do cryptoitis, again and again and again, just compounding your problems. And the problem is that the risk of exposure to these because of excitementitis and rush out and tell everyone is very high, okay? It's very, very high. But there's also a hidden transmitter that a lot of people don't know about, and it's called falsicus rheumatoid. In other words, false rumor for short, okay? People talk, and collectively they will pass on one or all of these symptoms to each other, okay? And falsicus rheumatoid is a killer, but the worst is yet to come. The fourth symptom sets in. It's like the fourth horseman of the apocalypse, this, isn't it? The fourth symptom sets in. Acute massive rejectionitis, okay? So other people's toxicity now starts to infect your new team member, and the rejection starts to increase. But the rejectionitis isn't over, because now you have to fight the disease that's spread from your new team member down out into their contacts and friends and family and acquaintances. And you will burn endless time and endless energy because your new member turns to you full of rejectionitis, and it's hard and time consuming to treat effectively. So you end up becoming a wet nurse and a doctor trying to fix all this disease that's run through your network, and it's hard. But here's the good news. You can prevent all of this. You can prevent all of it. And how we do that is, well, you need to stop the outbreak of it fast. Excitementitis and rush out and tell everyone, it can be stopped. And the only effective way to prevent the spread of these destructive conditions is to quarantine, okay? And you're going, wait, hold on. Do I have to lock people up then? Is that what I got to do? Well, No, but you need to lock people down. And there's a difference. You need to lock them down to prevent them ending up with bad rejectionitis. Okay. And you're saying to me, well, that's great, but how do I lock people down? Well, it's not as difficult as you think. Lockdown is easy. You make a simple agreement with your new team member, and you do that the moment you sign them up. Remember, we're talking about the first 24 hours here. Make this simple agreement the minute you get them in the business, okay? Because you've infected them with excitmentitis. Now what you've got to do is control the spread of excitmentitis so that it doesn't become rush out and tell everyone disease. And you say something like, okay, John, I know you're excited to rush out and tell everyone about Cash FX, but I'd like to get your agreement that you will not do that for at least the next 24 hours. Will you do that for me, please? It's a simple agreement. You've identified excitmentitis, you've identified rush out and tell everyone, and what you're saying to this person, hey, look, I know you're excited, I know you want to go out and tell everyone, but agree with me that you just won't do that for the next 24 hours. Will you do that for me, please? They might ask why. And you say, well, look, there's some basic training you need to do so that when you do go and speak to people, you're doing that in a way that gives you the maximum chance of enrolling them. Is that okay? So there is your justification for asking them to not rush out and tell everyone, okay? And not suffer from those awful things like, you know, is it Forex allergy? Is it legal infection? And I don't do kryptonitis. And all those other nasty things that they're going to get infected with if you just let them go. And when they agree to that, give them the part 1 training link, which is http://powerbuild.cfx.team, okay? Just give them the training link. So make a simple agreement and get them into the training, okay? Lockdown's easy when you know what to do. So now we're into the immunization phase of the disease control. So how do you immunize your new team member? Simple training in small doses. Training is essential to ensuring your new team member gets off to the right start on their Cash FX journey. And you're saying, oh, hold on, I don't know how to train people. I don't know what to do. It's okay. We have the training ready for your new member to access and to learn at their own pace. It's called powerbuild.cfx.team. Drive your people into this. You know, even your existing members that haven't gone through this, get them into this training, get their mentality right, get them immunized against rejectionitis and rush out and tell everyone disease and all that other horrible stuff that they're going to get infected with if you don't give them some simple training in small doses. Immunize, okay? And quarantine plus training is the cure for excitmentitis, rush out and tell everyone disease, myopic Google syndrome, oh, it's Forex allergy, is it legal infection? And I don't do kryptonitis, but most of all, quarantine and training is the cure for rejectionitis. It will stop that rejectionitis coming back for you to deal with. It will stop it spreading throughout your team, particularly your new members, okay? They're like a newborn baby. You wouldn't take a newborn baby into a, you know, room full of cigarette smoke, you know, and people and coughing and sneezing, would you? No, of course you wouldn't. You'd want to protect them. So treat your new members the same way. Get them in quarantine for 24 hours, and during that 24 hours, get them trained because it's a cure. But quarantine and training also prevents wasted prospects. It prevents unwanted questions. It prevents time wasters. It prevents cynics. And it prevents know-it-alls. How many of those have we all had? And above all, and this is the important thing that I really want to drive home, that quarantine and training also kills 99% of all known rejectionitis dead. It's like one of these adverts on the telly, isn't it, for Silly Bang or something. But it's true. Simple training given in small doses kills 99% of all known rejectionitis. So you and your team can get your free training today and protect your whole team at powerbuild.cfx.team. We don't charge for this training. It's free to our team. Go and get it. Okay? Give away the cure. Make sure your whole team gets trained. Okay? Because that's the cure. You're immunizing the whole team against all this nasty stuff that they're going to experience if you don't get them quarantined and trained and immunized against it. Okay? So give away the cure. Make it part of your routine that when you sign somebody up, the first thing in your mind is quarantine. Let me get this person locked down. Okay? Training. Let me get them cured and immunized against what's coming. Because if you don't, I mean, how many, we've all seen it. We've all brought new people into the business. They've suffered from excitementitis and go rush out and tell everyone. And you spend your whole life dealing with it. It's like a plague. But if you do some simple things and protect yourself, you won't suffer from it in your team, neither your team members or you won't suffer from it. Okay. So before they speak to anyone, quarantine, training, powerbuild.cfx.team. So I'm going to thank you for your time. I hope this has been useful to you. And remember, the first 24 hours when you bring your new team member into CashFX are the most critical time on their CashFX journey. You set them up right, you protect them, you quarantine them, you immunize them, and you give them the cure to build and build and build. And they'll be immune to all that rubbish and disease and horribleness that's out there.